Okay. So I'm going to talk about obedience and how this feature of the Abrahamic era, this feature has reached a peak, and now it's on its way down. So what I mean by the Abrahamic era, the three Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. The Abrahamic era installed centralized rule, centralized belief. So you didn't need army or force to make people do what you want. You make people do what you want through the belief system, so they do it on their own. And this is the Abrahamic era, and this is the basis of the obedience we see amongst people today, and why we're so confused. Why do they just believe anything and obey anything? It's because, and I'm not saying any of this is bad. I'm saying humans are evolving. Humans are installing systems. They're trial and error. It's what they're doing. None of this is bad. It's just what's happening. I'm just giving you an idea of what's happening. Okay, so through the Abrahamic belief systems, it installed obedience as a virtue to a centralized structure. This was fairly new, because before that, you had a fairly decentralized belief systems. That's why you need an army to go and physically make people do things. And they realized it's much easier if you install a belief system, and then people will do it on their own. And this was a feature which made the Abrahamics conquer the world, because it's like they were programmed to just do what the centralized structure says. And I'm not saying that was bad. That was probably necessary part of humanity's evolution. Okay, but this feature, which enabled such powerful empires, is starting to become a flaw, because over time the humans were engineered to remove their personal thought processes, remove their conscious, and it's actually a virtue to obey a centralized rule and ignore your own senses. So this became a virtue. And it probably was good back in the day when humans were completely, silly. Well, I'm guessing it. But this feature over time has bred the most obedient. The most obedient are the ones being rewarded the most. The most obedient are praised the most. You're obedient, you're humble, you obey. Now people think, I'm obedient only to God. I'm not obedient to the government. Yes, you are. You're obedient to the government. Because the government and the church are joined. They're in a marriage. So if you're obedient to one, you're obedient to the other. And you think you're not, you're just blocking it because it's too painful to see it. So what we're seeing is the culmination of hundreds of years of engineered obedience, and now we're seeing the result. We're seeing the word used a lot, sheeple, where they essentially outsource everything to the TV, to the central structure, to their church, and it's all being outsourced to, and it reaches a peak. They're all being outsourced from the same place ultimately, because the church listens to the state listens to whoever's higher than them, and it's all coming under a centralized structure. So this happens slowly. It's not like, one day, we just made a mistake. It's just idiots doing COVID, and this is just very stupid, and it's just a big, how could this happen? yeah, again, this is a type of blocking because it's inevitable that they were going to go down this path because humans over time outsourcing their senses to a centralized structure. This was always, it was just a matter of time before it backfired because, you know, someone, it'd be too attractive you're always going to get the most idiotic ones taking the reins because only the most idiotic ones are going to lie enough to get to the top and then take the reins. It's we can say the system of Babylon, the centralized structure, the Tower of Babylon, and who's at the top of the tower will control the rest. I don't think this is how God wanted it to happen. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that era, which probably had to happen, is reaching the culmination where humans are now more stupid than animals because the human will obey literally anything the structure says, where even an animal won't do that. Like, say, the human now will sacrifice his children, give them a mercury shot or whatever because the structure says so. But you won't see animals doing that because the animal hasn't been programmed. So yeah, that's a bit harsh, but I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah, and the new belief system is being installed, and we're seeing it even like they covering the statues now with masks, like you see the big statues. So the new belief system's being installed on the statues, all over the buildings. You have the sign-in code and the washing of the hands and the masks. So saying like another 10, 15, 20 years, when less and less people following the old belief systems, now you have masks, washing hands, check-in. It's a full belief system, and you've got your schedule of vaccines, and you show your phone with your updates of all your vaccines. Just like in the old days where you would have to show that you've cut your genitals and you've done this procedure to be entered in the other old belief systems. So I think humanity is in a constant balance between sovereignty and Babylon, and the two sway either way through history. And we're seeing Babylon take the reins in a big way recently with the COVID, and the structure is becoming very centralized. Okay, if you have any more questions for Ian Blickus, let me know, and yeah, we'll speak soon.